110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they did it! They did it!
Left, beat left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast on A2D Radio. Shout out to my guys, shout out to Tom, shout out to Ralph, shout out to the whole family, Tori. There's like a million of y'all. Shout out to all y'all, man. I took I'm not an English major, but I took the past 2 weeks off. I haven't been on here. I do apologize. There's been a lot going on. As well for the Eagles, right? There's a lot going on for the Philadelphia Eagles. So we're going to talk about all that today. And we're going to mainly be talking about Deshaun Watson. If you guys know my channel, you know I don't really talk about Deshaun Watson on my channel. I think we've talked about it once or twice. I had Mike K on yesterday. I think that was the longest conversation I've had about Deshaun Watson on my channel. So today I was like, let me make today about Deshaun. Let me make today about why I do not feel the Philadelphia Eagles should bring Deshaun Watson on board. Now, I know that he's a great player, amazing player, top 5, 8 player, depending on where you want to rank him. But there's too much going on. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to have one of my boys come on here as well, and we're going to chop it up a little bit. But yes, I want to know what you guys think as well. Tom said he don't want him. Tom does not want him. He said Mike Cray is a crumb. Okay. I respect your opinion. What's good, Jenks? What's good, Rob? Jason in the building. What's going on? David in the building. What's up? He said, "What's up, boys? Let's go Coyotes. Let's go Ducks. Let's go Rams, and let's go Chargers." And that's a lot of let's goes. You all over the place, my guy. What's good, Brian? What's good? That's another one. Shout out to my guy Brian. Mike, Matt. Why you don't like him? I want to know why you don't like Mike. What's good? Eagles Uncensored. Jake Gets Cake. Shout out to Jake Gets Cake. What's good, brother? So I'm just gonna get right into it, man. I'm gonna just tell you what I'm feeling about this dude. Y'all let me know. I'll be reading the comments and everything. This is an open conversation. I want to know what everybody thinks. So first of all, we'll talk about the positives. Obviously, as far as who Deshaun Watson is, we know what he can be. We know what he can bring to this team. Could he make us a better team offensively? Probably. You know, we know his skill set. You know, there's a lot of unknowns with Jalen Hurts. I just feel that as a team, this is not the time. You know, we have a lot of things going on as far as camp battles, you know, new coaches, new systems, new staff. There's just so much going on. We're in a transitional period. To bring somebody like Deshaun Watson, who's going through everything he's going through, it's just not the time, man. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me, to be honest. I feel like if you do go ahead and trade for Deshaun Watson, first of all, it's going to take way too much assets. So you're moving backwards. You're already in that aspect moving backwards to me. It's just a dumb pickup. It's a dumb pickup. There's no sense in the Philadelphia Eagles mortgaging their future or even putting Jalen Hurts in that position, because if you do. And look, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the league or he's going to, you know, set the league on fire. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is you literally have no idea what Jalen Hurts is. So if Jalen Hurts can at least play a couple of games, you see what he is. And if at the trade deadline or close to it, you want to pull the trigger and you know that, you know, Deshaun Watson is okay and everything's fine with his situation, then go ahead and do it. Then go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense to me right now. Like, I've said this before, and I know a lot of people disagree when I say this, but I'd rather overpay next year or at the trade deadline than underpay right now. I'd rather give up an extra first round pick in a month or two, knowing that he's going to be able to play for the Philadelphia Eagles this season or in the future. You know what I'm saying? We're sitting here acting like he stole some crab legs. I mean, my man really has a case pending. Like, this is real, y'all. You know, so I don't understand. I've seen some people say, I'd rather have Deshaun Watson, even if he's in court. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. I've seen people compare it to the Michael Vick situation, and I get it to a certain extent, but Michael Vick was a second chance. Deshaun Watson is going through it right now. We don't know what he's doing. We don't know how true or how false all this is. And look, as a person, as a man, you never want somebody to be accused of that if it's not true. So if it's not true, I definitely feel for him. But man, we've learned as Philadelphia Eagles fans, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So I'm not holding I'm holding judgment as far as, if he's guilty or not. That's not up to me to decide. But listen, man, if he is guilty, I'm having doubts as a person if I even want him in the league. So I definitely don't want him on the Philadelphia Eagles. We know what Deshaun Watson is, a stupid move. I agree with you, man. The package is really what keeps me from really wanting the Birds to go get him. I can't have him on this team right now with the uncertainty. If Howie knows something, if Jeffrey knows something, which I'm sure they do a lot more homework than I did, but if they know something more than we do and they know he's going to be cleared and all this is just, a big misunderstanding, I don't know how you want to, categorize it, then maybe, then we start talking about the package of what we would have to give up. But nah, if he signs and next year we find out he can't play, then what? We don't have Jalen Hurts. We don't have none of our first round picks. Then what? It's just not worth it to me. Some deals are just too good to be true, and this is one of them. This is just one of them. I'd rather wait. Afternoon, I do not want Deshaun on this team. He has the talent, but I do not want the baggage. Let the law work for itself out. I want Jalen to get his chance this season. Exactly. And, absolute best case scenario, if you do want Deshaun Watson on this team, is we do give Jalen Hurts a couple weeks. He shows that he's worth maybe a second, maybe a third round pick to someone. Or maybe it brings down the value of Deshaun Watson, meaning maybe, the Houston Texans say, hey, that Jalen Hurts kid you got ain't too bad. I'll work with him, right? So maybe that's what you get. If that's what you get, hey, maybe you only got to give him a first round pick and some other things in Jalen Hurts. Maybe Jalen Hurts proving that he's a legitimate quarterback can save you on any quarterback that you're trying to, get in the near future. So I think there's just too many positives to keeping Jalen Hurts on this team for a couple weeks and seeing what you got. What's good, Chuck? What's good, gentlemen? What's good? What's good, brother? I have a feeling Hurts will be better than Watson. Hey, I hope so. I truly do hope so. Shout out to everybody in here, man. We got 30 people in here. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you're looking at my face and you're like, who the heck is this? I usually am on here Saturdays. I've just been busy the past couple of weeks, but it is Philly the podcast. So definitely go check out my channel. We just had Mike K on yesterday. We've done a lot of Eagles interviews and stuff. So definitely go check us out. I would rather take their time and see how the off-field issues before we go. Exactly. I'd rather give it all up. Look, if right now they're saying the deal that we'll take is 2 firsts and a player, I'd rather give up 3 firsts in 2 months knowing that he's going to be our future quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather give up that extra capital or extra player, whatever it may be, to know he's going to be our guy. And look at the money ramifications. Like, this is not a cheap contract. It's not an exorbitant amount like a Josh Allen yet, but he's probably going to be looking for that type of money. This dude is the NFL version of Bill Cosby. Yeah, I'm good on him, man. I'm good on him. How he wants all the smoke. I'm sure he do. He's smoking something if he really goes out there and gives it all up for Deshaun Watson. I believe in my Rams with Matthew Stafford. That'll be a fun thing to watch just because you guys got a really good head coach. So we'll see what happens, man. Sean McVay, and I want to ask you this. I don't get to talk to Rams fans much. So, David, please answer me this. Do you think that Sean McVay at all is on the hot seat? And the reason why I ask this is just because you guys have had talent. Does it all fall on Jared Goff, or do you think that, people that the higher ups are kind of looking at your coach like, yo, you got to make something shake pretty soon? It might be a little bit overreactive, but I just want to know what you think. Good afternoon, my good sir. What's good, my guy? What's good? He said, yo, why you just the best, though? I don't know. I woke up like this, I'm just messing with you. What's good, big play Slay? What's good, my brother? Hopefully, I'm not late on the. I'm late. I was the late one. We're actually gonna have a familiar face to you, man. I'm about to bring a homie on in a couple minutes. We have Joe Flacco. That's what I'm saying. So why do we need Deshaun Watson when you got the GOAT back in your? You know, let me stop. Let me stop. I like the sports haters, Eagles all day. Exactly. Let them keep hating, man. Let them keep hating. Apparently, the offense did not do well in camp today. Any worries? I'll say there's two ways to look at it. You know what I'm saying? There's two ways to look at it. There's one way of looking at it that's saying, hey, maybe our defense is stepping up. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's, I don't think that's really what it is, if I'm being honest, if I'm being 100% honest. The other way I'm looking at it is that today was the first day of actually running the plays that they've been installing. So if you think about it, the defense has been seeing these plays and these formations for a while now, and it's been a very small list of plays. So I will say the defense has the edge when it comes to that. A lot of the inaccuracies and a lot of the miscommunication and I guess the bad decisions from Jalen Hurts, that's what worries me. But as an offense overall, I think they'll figure it out. We'll see what happens, though. We will definitely see what happens. I'm not too worried, but there's a difference in Cosby and Watson. Watson didn't drug anyone. His case, basically, she said, I mean, well, hey, until it's cleared, I'm not jumping off no ledge for him. Have you seen the numbers? He is better in his first career starts. You're talking about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts went out there and put on a show. I'm down to see what's up with Jalen Hurts. Like I say, just let Hurts be the starter, and he's cheap on the books. Yeah, you can build the team. You can build a team. Look, you look at all these players that we have leaving next year. You know what I'm saying? You even look at the players that aren't necessarily going to leave, but are on massive contracts. You know what I'm saying? You look at Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, Fletcher Cox, Darius Slay. Excuse me. You know, there's a bevy. You like that word, guys? A bevy of big time contracts that we're going to have to pay to older players next year. And if you give up draft picks, it's going to be very hard to rebuild your team when you don't have the money to re-sign people. Because I think we have like maybe $4 or $5 million right now. I know that'll change, but it's just not a good look, man. It's just not a good look. Joey Fortress, did you annex A2D channel? Not cool. No, I don't know what annex means, but I mean, I ain't leave. I'm back, man. Tom's family. I don't know why he puts up with me, if I'm being real. He said, no, he's not on the hot seat. All right, that's realistic. I just wanted to know. The Eagles had a terrible practice today. They definitely did. But hopefully it gets better. Todd Gurley should come back to the Rams. Do y'all really want him? I mean, probably for cheap, right? You wouldn't mind. What's good, Eagles champ? Sean McVay's not on the hot seat. All right. Hey Joe, what's good, Jock Talk? What's good, brother? We should be worried. Jalen Hurts pulled the Wentz and way overthrown. There's footage. I'm not too worried. It's still early. What's up, brother? What's good, Greg? I disagree to the poll. I'll give you an agree to this year and letting Jalen have this year. But if things check out legally, we're crazy to not want Watson potentially next year. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I definitely agree with that. San8 says it's practice. Why overrated? I mean, at the end of the day, practice is all you have right now. And I mean, we've all played. I'm sure a lot of you have played sports, and usually you practice how you play, and stuff like that, accuracy, stuff like that is stuff you got to watch. So bad decisions, man, you definitely got to keep an eye on that. So I'm not saying overrated and the world's falling, but it's definitely something to watch out for, man. You don't want too many bad days of practice. What have I missed? Not really. I'm just kind of complaining about why I don't want Watson. I'm just asking what y'all think. I want to know what y'all think about Watson. I'm going to agree with the poll. Hurts will be the starter this year, but knowing Howie Roseman with all the assets we have, I still think tries to make a move for a quarterback, whether it's Rodgers, Wilson, or Watson. Yeah, and I agree. I definitely think that the cards are stacked against Jalen Hurts this year just because it's going to be tough. You've got to be great. You've got to be great this year. I'm going to bring my homie on real quick. Definitely, I'll say it when he gets on here. My man, Eagles Uncensored, man, a good friend of mine, a channel member, and he also has his own channel, Eagles Uncensored. Definitely go check him out, man. He's killing it. What's good? What's good, brother?
How you doing, man? Appreciate you having me on.
I can't complain. So let's just start it off. Let's jump right into the fire, man. Let's jump right into the fire. What are your thoughts about Watson coming to Philadelphia?
No, I'm on board with you, man. It all kind of speaks for itself. You know, we got out of the Wentz thing because of the money. You know, why would we go and put ourselves right back into that situation? You know, we have too many holes on each side of the ball that we need to fill. You know, giving away our draft capital is not a smart opportunity. And, you know, if you're going to give Nick a fair shot at being a head coach, you can't take away his capital to develop and improve this team going forward, or it's going to make him look bad and then he's going to lose his job.
Facts.
You know, Hertz's cap is like 900,000 or 1.2, I think it is. So it's not much, you know. That gives you 3 years here to build a really good team around him. You know, I keep saying Hertz does not have to be an MVP quarterback for us to win.
Facts.
He just needs to be himself and not mess up and just be consistent.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Especially this year, I know that we want to shoot for the stars. I know the Steven Nelson signing got a lot of people hyped. I know this defense is probably getting a lot of people hyped, as it should. But we don't. You look at our running back room and the amount of running backs we just have. I mean, just blatantly, right? We have a lot of talented running backs. So I feel as though our running game is going to be what we lean on heavily. I think that's what our identity is going to be, which is something we've lacked for a long time, especially with Doug Peterson. So, like you said, we don't need Hurts to be Russell Wilson. We don't need Hurts to be a Aaron Rodgers, and we don't necessarily need a Russell Wilson or an Aaron Rodgers. We need to see what this team is, because we don't know what anybody on this team is. If you told me, you know, and we all think that Devontae Smith will be great. I definitely think he'll be great. But if you told me, listen, you got two great wide receivers, your running game's unstoppable, your O-line, you know, can't take them off the field type guys, your defense is there. If you're telling me all you need is a quarterback, we're having a different conversation, right? We're having a different conversation. But I feel like the Eagles are so into getting Deshaun Watson just because the price is so low, and that's what scares me. You know what I'm saying? That's what really scares me. Because like I said, I'll be down for next year. Next year, if you wanna go out there and you wanna spend, you know, a little bit of extra money because you're saying, hey, I like this team. Let's just keep them growing with Deshaun Watson. I'm cool with that. But right now, this is a huge risk to take. You know what I'm saying? And as Jason Bennett said, man, in theory, how could Howie even think about replacing Jalen with Watson? Was 4 games enough for him to base his decision on? And why won't they name Jalen the starter? I'll answer the second part. I think, and like I said, we did have Mike K on yesterday. He kind of said it perfectly. So I'm going to kind of keep running with this. But he probably just doesn't want to lie. He probably just doesn't want to be wrong. You know, we've seen in Philadelphia with Doug Peterson, you know, glowing about his assistants, telling us they're going to be there, and the next day they're fired. So maybe Nick Sirianni's holding off on big statements like that, so he's not put in the same situation. But what do you think about the 4 games? Do you think it was enough? Do you think he needs more time?
Well, I mean, you see what he did last year in the 4 games that he had. I mean, in all honesty, that offense last year was tailored to Carson Wentz. That's who they built it for. You know, they didn't technically think of Hurts when they built that. So, you know, and he was playing with third string and, you know, training camp players. You know, like he made it work with what he had. And now you get your offensive line back. You have Devontae Smith. Rager's in his natural position. Fulgham, you know, he's on the outside. If that doesn't work out, at least, you know, Watkins is an upside. You know, at least I believe so. You see him out there putting in the work. You know, and then you have Miles. You got Johnson, who's an upgrade from last year. You know, Jordan Howard seems to be, you know, healthy again so far. And, you know, you hear good things about him. You got Gainwell now. You know, just all in all, man, it's a whole different offense. You know, we got to stop looking at this as last year. You can't compare this team to last year because the coaching staff is completely different. You know, the whole scheme, we're going to a true West Coast offense now. You know, it's not going to be what Doug was running. It's going to be a real West Coast offense. It's going to be tailored to help Jalen Hurts succeed as a quarterback. I mean, that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. It's going to be a run-first offense. You know, I expect us to probably be in the top 10 in carries this year.
We should be. We should have been, to be honest.
Yeah.
We've had 3 running backs for a while since 27, maybe even before that. Not really. We kind of had a lot of injuries, so it's really hard to say that. But 2017 and on, we've had 3 competent guys at all times. You know what I'm saying? Corey Clement went crazy in the Super Bowl. I know that, he had a rough go at it, the past couple of years, especially due to injuries, but he was a monster in the Super Bowl. We saw what he could do. Same thing, with Boston Scott. Boston Scott has shown what he can do throughout seasons. So, we've always had 3 competent guys. Now we got 10. So and then you add on Jalen Hurts, who's a +1 quarterback. He's going to be able to, scramble, get out of the pocket, do things like that. And not only that, you look. I think it was yesterday. No, it wasn't yesterday because they were off. I want to say it was probably the day before or something like that. You saw Nick Sirianni coaching up Jalen Hurts and basically told him if all else fails, go fast. You know what I'm saying? If all else fails, just go. Just don't think too much. And I think fans and media alike, I'll say all of us really. I think sometimes we put too much wholeness on a quarterback being Peyton Manning or being Tom Brady in the sense that they sit in the pocket, read everything. They just know where everything is. And honestly, that's a very rare breed. That's a very rare breed. There's a lot more there's a lot more in the bottom 25 of the league than there is in the top 5 of the league, right? It's just easy mathematics. So there's the high end is the high end quarterbacks, and it is what it is. We want one, but it doesn't make sense to give up your whole future for one. And you're present, because we're not going to be able to learn what these guys are. You know what I'm saying? Now, I want to switch over a little bit from Deshaun Watson.
Can I say something on that real quick?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
This is the way I'm looking at the Watson thing, man. All right, these guys have been working together for 3-4 months now. The chemistry's there. They believe in one another. The offensive line, the chemistry is there with them and Hurts. These guys are wearing his hats, for Christ's sake. They love this kid. If you rip Watson or Hurts away from this team right now and trade for Watson, dude, I love what Phil Hills told me in a text message. He's like, I could see it being like a Remember the Titans scene where the whole offensive line just stands up and they just blast Watson. Because it's the chemistry would not be there. You would ruin this team if you went and got Watson right now. He would have to learn a whole new offensive scheme. He'd have to redo everything Hurts just went through. Mm-hmm. It makes no sense whatsoever this late into training camp to do that move.
No, in fact,
it just doesn't.
Facts, yeah, and like you said, to kind of continue to piggyback off that, you look at the person. It's one thing if you're bringing in Tom Brady. I'm sure a bunch of guys will sit there and be like, "Hey, we got Tom Brady," but they hear the rumors too. They know what Deshaun Watson's going through, and I'm not saying that our players are going to. I'm sure they would, accept him as much as they can. But if I met Deshaun Watson right now, it would be a lot different from if I met Deshaun Watson 2 months ago. 2 months ago, I'd probably be like, "Oh, that's what's up, man. Let me get you." Now I'm kind of side-eyeing you. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of looking at you a little bit different. And it's unfair if it's not true, but if it is true, right. That's what you're going to be going through. So why add that to the locker room? I 100% agree. Now, I do want to move on a little bit from Deshaun Watson. I want to talk a little bit about these injuries at camp. John Hightower, obviously, today is week to week with a groin injury. So shout out to Red Sand for bringing that up. And not only him, Jacoby Stevens is week to week with a hamstring, I believe it is. Davion Taylor is out with, obviously, the calf injury. We obviously have Devontae Smith out for a little while with the hamstrings. We were talking about it on the live this morning when I was doing the training camp live. Are you worried about these injuries? Is this starting to pile up a little bit too much for you?
Man, I said it in your chat this morning. I'll say it on live. I saw a lot of half-ass stretching from a lot of players during the lives. There was guys out there, you can see Kerrigan, man. He knows how to stretch. When they show him in the live, Like that dude's really pulling his leg back. You know, he's working that hammy. He's loosening it up. And then you got some of these younger guys out there just like, you know, like they're not really putting in a real hard stretch. They're not torquing their bodies. So in my eyes, man, when it comes to hammies and stuff, it's like you're just being lazy when it comes to stretching. Like you're doing it, but you're just half-assing. You know what I mean?
And there are a lot of lower body injuries. So
Yeah.
you know, I make fun of Joe Judge for, you know, having his team basically practicing like an Olympic sprint team. But you know, listen, sometimes you gotta do some laps, man. Sometimes you gotta get your body right. Like, you know, yeah, I know my roommate is a health professional, so he always, you know, he's always preaching like, you know, stretching and warming up. And it doesn't matter if you've been practicing and playing in the NFL for 10 years, 1 year. It doesn't matter if you're 4 years old. At the end of the day, you have to stretch. You have to get your body right. You have to be ready to play, man. You exert different muscles. You use different muscles than your everyday life. So you can't treat football like your everyday life. You know what I'm saying? You're not walking up a flight of stairs. You're about to get hit by a 300-pound man. It's a lot different. So I don't say it worries me in the sense of like, do I think these injuries are major? I don't think that any of these major injuries, you know, knock on wood, have been major yet, thank God. But it does worry me with all these little nicks, you know, especially that we're not having long practices. We're not really padded up that much. I think today was our third, maybe fourth day of actual padded practice. So, you know, it worries me that we're going, in my eyes, a little soft and we're getting these injuries. You know what I'm saying? If we were just going hard all camp, you know, mad competition, mad scuff, mad just hitting, and we're getting these injuries, it's a byproduct of it. But now I'm kind of worried that, like you said, are these guys taking their bodies seriously? You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to read too much into it, but it makes me a little worried about them individuals.
Like no lie, man. I'll tell you right now, a little bit. Like I played football, you know, and when I started at 16 years old, I started playing inner city league softball, and I've been doing it now for 16 years. I'm 33 now. I've never pulled a hammy ever, but I stretch my legs really good every time. I don't want to pull a hammy either because I heard they're very painful. But I mean, that's why I say it's got to be lack of just being lazy comes to stretching, because I've never done it. Now, granted, it might be a genetic thing too. I don't know. Like, do some people just have it easier popping hammies sometimes? Is that just a thing? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't answer that.
Yeah, I've never been I mean, shoot, I'm starting to think that our physical therapy team isn't doctors either, to be honest. I mean, we have a new team. We have a new medical staff. Last year, he just watched. He did his voyeurism. He just sat back and watched our team go through injury after injury after injury, and he got paid to sit and watch. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So we have a new head of medical staff, and we have, for the most part, a new medical staff. So you'd hope that there would be differences. And look, let's be honest with ourselves. At this point last year, we were missing Brooks. We were, you know, we were banged up last year, and it was pretty bad. It was worse injuries. So maybe it's a little bit overlooking, you know, maybe overthinking it, over exaggerating, I guess is the best word. But it's still, I think, something to watch. It is what it is. I think coaches are sub-heavy first 3 games until conditioning to par. Now, this is a question I want to ask too, man. Obviously, the Thursday, I think it is our first preseason game. Now, you look at the Cowboys game, and I'm not going to sit here and talk junk about the Cowboys game, but the thing that you look at the Cowboys game and see is that they didn't play a lot of their starters. They had a solidified number 1 team. I don't know if the Eagles have that. Do you, like, if you're is Jalen Hurts a guy that you want to sit? Because I think we still have to see what he's going to do in a game. You know, is Miles Sanders a guy that you want to sit? The only people I can really look at and say I don't want to see them on the field is like our O-line, to be real. So it's like, do we have a solidified first team that we should be sitting out?
Everyone plays.
Yeah.
It's a brand new system, man. Even Lane Johnson has to play. Even Kels has to play. You know, Mailata has to play. It's about building that relationship, and that's the best way to do it. You know, getting them out there on that field against another team and letting them go at it. You know, it's about the communication. It's about, you know, just You know what I mean? You know, everyone has to play because it's one thing to go against each other in practice, but it's another thing to do it out on the field. And I believe everyone has to play because they need to feel that.
Yeah, they need to get that. I get nervous, and I said this before. I don't want to say I don't care, but injuries are part of the game. I need you to go out there and show me what you got. Like you said, this is a whole new team. You have to prove it to everybody, not just the coaches, but the guys standing to the left and right of you. You got to build that chemistry, that bond, I guess is the best way of putting it. So I don't know, but there are some people I think like I wouldn't play Fletch. I don't think there's any reason to play Fletch. I would love to see what Marlon Tualapu, I can't say his name. I would love to see what he does. I would love to see what Milton Williams does. I would love to see what Javon Hargrave does as a number one guy. The list goes on, so I wouldn't mind that. Ryan Kerrigan, I don't really need to see him out on the field. I know what you're gonna bring.
I wouldn't play Dickerson either. Jay's right.
I mean, I don't even know if Dickerson can play.
Dickerson, I don't think Dickerson should play at all this year. I think he should just sit the entire year and unleash this kid next year. Like, don't even jeopardize.
I'm not with that. I'm not with that because then you just spent a second round pick on a guy you're gonna have maybe 3 years. And what if he sucks next year? Like, what if he's not that good? Like, what if he goes out there, he's fully healthy this year, and he's just not good? You want to find that out next year when you have no options of replacing him? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I mean, bro, if you're going to keep getting injured, there's no room for you on this team. Like, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, it's hard for me to just be like, oh no, he says sit Dickerson. I'm not. My thing with Dickerson, look, I know that he's a dog on the field, and we saw what he could do in Oklahoma. But the fact of the matter is, if you cannot be on the field, we're going to have to find somebody to replace you. We got to think he's either going to take a left guard position, maybe the center position. I know a lot of people are assuming that. So, either the center or the left guard position, one of those positions has to be filled next year. Because like Nate Herbig can probably take one of them, in my opinion, if you add nothing else. But he can only take one. He's not going to play center and guard. So you got to figure that out. And Isaac Seumalo's not getting any younger. So I don't know. I understand why everybody wants to sit Dickerson, but if he's healthy, man, you got to go. You got to go out there. You got to play the best players. If he's healthy, I'm not saying rush him back, but I just feel like if he's healthy, you got to go out there, man. We need to see what you got,
Well, I mean, realistically, I believe the only place he fits in then would be Seumalo's spot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only spot he can take.
I mean, yeah, he could take left guard. Yeah. I mean, if Kelsey starts falling off, Kelsey was about to retire before now. Maybe he starts falling off. You throw him in the center position. But, yeah, I would put him at left guard. And I've said this before. If he's a beast at left guard, then you keep him at left guard. You move Nate Herbig inside. You move Isaac Seumalo if you want to keep him another year. There's options there, but you have to figure out what he's going to be.
You're stealing my takes. I've been saying that, man. I've been saying put both of your 6'8" guys on his left side, man. That is like an amazing thing. If you had Mailata and Dickerson next to each other, no one's touching Jalen Hurts on the back end. No one.
Yeah, Mailata's been going off too. He said Cowboy Schultz at Dom is here. Yeah, that was a hot take right there. Speaking of hot takes. But no, yeah, I mean, look, Jordan Mailata, I'm pretty sure he's going to win that job. It seems like it's all but guaranteed. If we have Andre Dillard as a backup at left tackle, I don't think that's the worst situation in the NFL. And then we have so much depth. And realistically, if we're trash, you know what I'm saying? And we can start moving on from some of these older offensive linemen. And I say that wholeheartedly. I love you, Lane. I love you, Brandon Brooks. I love you guys. But listen, man, Kelsey's probably going to be gone next year. It's time to move on. It's time to start. If we're not good this year, if we are just, terrible, come week 6 or 7, it's time to see what value you have in these older offensive linemen that are a couple years away. Because look, I would love to see Jack Driscoll started with the ones at right guard today. I would love to see that in the future. I would love to see, even if Jack Driscoll goes to right tackle, even if Mailata ends up going at right tackle, we start Dillard. Like, there's so many things that we can do We even have Raven Clark, who I think is still on IR or something like that. But we have so many options that it's like I don't think we need to keep holding on to our players. And I know it's probably an unpopular opinion, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with you, man. I'm already thinking, ahead about our offensive line. Like, I have Mailata at left tackle, and I have Dickerson at center. You got Herbig at right guard. You got Driscoll at right tackle, and then kind of left guard. That's still up in the air who I want there yet, but it's a good offensive line going forward. We can build off of it.
Facts. Yeah, I think if we're healthy, man, our offensive line, I've said this before, should be a top 5 unit. I have no gripes in saying that. Sue me, at me. I really don't care. But shout out to Jason Bennett saying, dude was a rugby player and he's beating Dillard. Dude, we have so many Australians on our team. We got Matt Leo, we got Jordan Mailata, we got Aaron Sippis. Shout out to my guy Aaron Sippis. I think we got a couple more, man. I can't remember them off the top of the head. But Aaron Sippis was a wide receiver in Australia. He was like a elite player out there, and then he just had a bunch of leg injuries, and he is where he is now. But he's an interesting guy. But yeah, we love, and even Philly in general. Like Philly should have like a consulate for like Australia out here, like just a home away from home, because we got Ben Simmons. We're paying all these Australians off, so it is what it is. That's what's up. Kelsey, see what happened to Peters. He don't want to go out like that. I don't think Kelsey would ever go out like that, to be honest. Like, Kelsey's a dog. I think this year he's gonna be fine. It'll be interesting though. I just hope he doesn't get hurt. That's how I don't want him to go out. And I hate to say that, but that's how I would hate for him to go out. Thomas Arnold. Tom says, tell Watson we good. We good. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah, Tom is the guy. Tom's actually in Florida. So Tom, you got to text me back because my birthday's next week, bro. And you like less than an hour away from me. So we kicking it. But so yeah, we'll get back to Watson now. I still see people, getting mad about Watson. So it is what it is. So all right, so go back to Watson. If we did get Watson, okay, what do you think is a fair compensation from both sides? What would you be okay giving up? That's where I'm at. See, that's why I made you answer first.
Smart move. Nah, man. I'm not willing to give up anything for this man. We need all we can get. That's money, that's draft capital, everything. Like, we need it all. I'm not willing to give up anything for him. I'm sorry, I'm not.
I respect it. I'm with you, bro. Like, I'll play devil's advocate because I have said this on my channel before. Jay Koch says, first, a fourth Hurts and dump Cox and Ertz on him. No. No. You had me until about Hurts. Yeah, that's probably where you lost me. Like, once you added all them extra players, we need way more back if that's the case. But like, listen, I'll do this. If I read the news tomorrow and they said the Eagles traded for Deshaun Watson for a first-round pick, I wouldn't say anything. I would say, okay. If we fleece them, which is not going to happen, we're not going to fleece them. You know what I'm saying? Because if we were, it would have been happened already. They've had Deshaun Watson playing at freaking what's it called? They've had Deshaun Watson playing at safety for some of these training camps. So I mean, like, they are not looking at him to be their quarterback moving forward. I don't think he's looking to be their quarterback moving forward, but they are in no rush. They have no reason to rush. They have no reason to give him up. Because at the end of the day, this is his lowest period. The only way his value goes down is if he's actually in jail. That's like literally the only way that his value will go any further down. You know what I'm saying? So as the Texans, it's like there's nowhere but up if he's good. So just wait it out until somebody gives you the offer you want. So I mean, it's like you have to fleece them. You have to absolutely fleece them. And it's just not going to happen. So I'm with you. There's just nothing I really would give up right now. He said some team will give up a stupid amount of draft capital, but who? Who has what they want?
Yeah, let Washington do it. Let Washington do it.
Yeah, let Washington give up another 3 first-round picks. That worked with what's his name? Russ. What's the heck's his name? RG Nee. That worked out with him.
RG3.
He said Ertz, Dillard, Howie, and potholes on I-95. That's a steal. That's a steal right there. He said, so yeah, Cox and Ertz would offer. I'm not giving up Cox, man. Cox, but I keep saying his last name. Fletcher, by himself, to me, is a first-round pick. I'm not getting, just because of what he means to this team, bro. Like, there's no way I'm giving him up in a package. There's no way I'm giving up Fletcher Cox in a package.
Okay, let me throw this scenario at you then. Would you give up Hargraves instead of Cox?
Would I give up Hargrave for who?
Would you put Hargraves in that position then instead of Cox?
So let me go look at it real quick one more time. He said a first, a fourth, Hurts, and you're saying Hargrave and Ertz. I still think that's a lot. I mean, Ertz doesn't want to be here, so that saves you money. And then Javon Hargrave, I would have to look at his actual contract. I don't know.
His contract is $30 million.
I don't know if it would put us in the red though. That's what I don't know what his dead money would be. I mean, but assuming that it wouldn't kill us like dead money wise, I guess I still think that's a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I still do think that's a lot, but I don't know, man. There's just too much, man. Too much. I hear you, Andrew. Dillard is a chump. He says, since when did you add? I just asked him randomly today. I was like, you want to hop on today? We were talking about Deshaun Watson this morning anyway. So I was like, you want to just hop on? We'll talk. But shout out to Big Play Slate. What's good, Alberto? What's up, Eagles family? Ertz, Singleton, Rager, and Colts second. I would do that.
Ooh.
I would do that in a second.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't put Rager in there. I'm not sold on it. I'm not all like ready to give up on him yet.
I don't think that's giving up on Rager though, because I feel like the only real value you're giving away is Rager and that second. I mean, Singleton is good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think you're dying from that trade. And I think we have a lot of wide receivers, and it opens up the door to go get somebody like a James Washington if you really want to for cheap. Because realistically, I mean, we'll hit on that.
Jason's.
Huh?
I'll do Jason's right below his. First, Ford, Dillard, and Ertz. Yeah, I'll pull that one all day.
Yeah, I would do that. I would definitely do that. That saves us money. I mean,
yeah.
Dillard's another one though. I don't know if I wouldn't mind having a backup tackle. You know what I'm saying? A good backup tackle. He said my Angels won the 4th straight. Shout out to the Phillies. The Phillies did their thing yesterday too. I really think Rager is going to be very motivated. I do too. But a lot of people and I want to ask you about this now too. Before we get out of here, we go like another 15 minutes. James Washington. I don't know why I just blanked out for a second. James Washington. I mean, the guy's 5'11". He's a slot wide receiver. So if you did bring him on, you're looking at, a slot guy. Who would you replace him with if you even want him? Like who do you want James Washington? Let's start there, I guess.
He wants to go to a team where he's going to start, or at least get more playing time than what he's getting in Pittsburgh. And that's not here, man. Because honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, if we would trade for Washington, he's going to be 5th or 6th on our depth chart.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If you trade for somebody, like you said, he wants to play. He doesn't want to compete. You know what I'm saying? If he said, listen, I just want somewhere I can go that I can, realistically compete for a job, that's different. We're having a different conversation. But he just wants to start. Like you said, he just wants to go to a team that's going to play him, and that's it. We have too many players, way too many players to bring on somebody like that. Another guy that people are starting to talk about again, because this was a rumor earlier in the free agency period, is KJ Wright. Obviously a linebacker from the Seattle Seahawks. Not terrible. He would be a decent addition. I'll see. I want to know what you think before you go. I will say quickly, I'm good. I'm okay. I think that we have a lot of players at that position. And I think we're good. I think we have a lot of youth, and I would love to see what we have there. But how do you feel about KJ Wright?
It wouldn't be a bad veteran pickup to help, Davion Taylor and Sean Bradley, progress to the next level. He would definitely be a good mentor. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I believe we have really good depth there, and I believe what we have and what Rallis is working with. I always have said the two most important people on this coaching staff, besides JG and Nick, is Rallis and Rocker. If these two coaches can get the defensive line and the linebackers all in sync, this is going to be a deadly defense. And I believe so far Rallis has been doing that. And I think we'll be okay. But for sure, man, Rocker and Rallis are our key points to this defense.
Facts. I agree. I think that we're going to be fine. Especially defensively, like I said, I was talking to Mike K yesterday. He was like, and I asked him, I was like, what should we be excited about? He was like, this defense is something to be excited about. Kind of like you said, we have the talent there. We have a lot of different type of talent as well. So now it's just putting the pieces together, right? It's just getting everybody in their respective spot. You got slot God now, the real slot God, Avonte Maddox moving back to a position that I think is going to suit him very well. I'm very high on Avonte Maddox in the slot position. I really do think we're going to see a great year out of him. Maybe Brandon Boykin-esque. I'm not going to say, I think he had like 8 interceptions that year. I won't go that crazy, but I think he's definitely going to have a great year this year. So the last 10 minutes, I want to re-ask the question, and I want to ask everybody in the chat. We do have 30 people in here. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching. Go check out my guy, Eagles Uncensored, on YouTube. His podcast is basically brand new, and he's been grinding, man. He's been doing his thing. And definitely, obviously, go check out Philly the podcast. You know how we get down, man. But I want to ask you, let's answer this poll question. And like I said, everybody in the comments, I want to know your thoughts. Please answer the question as well. Deshaun Watson should not be an Eagle. Do you agree or do you disagree?
Well, I agree.
That's it. That was it. He said, I agree. That's it. I thought you was about to go.
There's no stutter there. I agree. He shouldn't be.
No, he shouldn't be, man. I don't think it's even that hard of a question. Like, come on, Eagles fans. Like, realistically, like, why are we even feeding into this? I understand that, some of these sources might look real, but at the end of the day, no, guys. You guys hear me? Hold on. I'm gonna bring it on. No. You guys like the ASMR version of the no? I'm gonna say it in Spanish for all my bilinguals. No. All right. No Deshaun Watson in Philly. We're not having it. Not this year. Maybe next year. I won't say not next year. Maybe next year, but not this year. It's hurt season. So let me see what everybody's saying. Big Play Slice. They got one more question. What Eagles player looks like Joe Castro? Joe, there's a few guys. I don't look like nobody. Maybe I heard Brandon Graham. Somebody told me Brandon Graham. I like that one. I'll take that one. He said, I think Derek Barnett going to be. I don't know about that. Derek Barnett, I don't know if he's getting traded anymore. I think they're down to have both of them, to be honest. What do you think about that?
Oh, man, I was a strong believer as soon as they renegotiated that contract. That's his first step out the door. Like, no lie.
See, I feel opposite. I feel like now it makes it easier for them to keep him on the roster. We've heard Nick Sirianni. No, John Gannon was talking about it, and he was saying that he wants to use both of them like starters. So I mean, maybe we'll see. That's going to be that might have to be the next agree to disagree. That's going to be the next episode.
I mean, man, this is the way I look at it, though. Like, all right, we'll just use the left tackle position as an example because defensive end's a little tougher, okay? Because Barnett has been decent at times and he's looked bad, so there is something there to work with. But in my eyes, Dillard is just a dud, okay? If Mailata beats him out, who was a 7th round pick, dude, you can't have a first round pick sitting on the bench. That just doesn't look right to us. You know, you have to trade him. Like that does nothing for you having a first rounder on the bench as a backup.
See, all right, look, this is how I look at it. And nobody's right. There's no right answer to this. I just want to, everybody's going to have different opinions on this. We don't know until we see, right? But my opinion is realistically having two good defensive ends, especially when you're in a position that you don't know what Brandon Graham's going to be next year. You don't have any other defensive ends outside of Derek Barnett and Josh Sweat. So I feel like having those options doesn't kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like if he does get traded, he does get traded. It is what it is. But if you have two options, especially with the injury history that they both have, we might get 6 games out of both of them respectively. So that's 12 games together, right? So that maybe we look at it like that. I just think having more options at the defensive. I understand your point of, a first round guy on the bench is not a good look. But we also need to start swallowing our pride because
that's why I left the defensive end out.
Say again?
I said that's why I left the defensive end group out. That's why I just said left tackle. As in Dillard's perspective, like Dillard would have to go. I won't touch the defensive ends because you're right. The depth there. Depth is good. We need depth there. I 100% agree with you there. But as far as left tackle and Dillard, if Mailata beats him out, Dillard's got to go.
But who would
I
be
know
his
people
backup?
can say, oh, but depth. Yeah, but you have Dickerson, you have Herbig and Driscoll and all these guys who can play multiple positions. Dillard's your only non-versatile player on that whole offensive line.
I mean, if LaRaven Clark is healthy, maybe it's an option and you get something good for Andre Dillard. But outside of, Landon could play left tackle. He has before, but we don't even know if he's going to be able to play this year. Nate Herbig, I've never seen him at left tackle, so I don't want to bet on that. Jack Driscoll, I definitely agree. He definitely could move over there and give you some solid play. I just get nervous giving up depth. I think I've said it before. I think that the best situation that the Eagles can be in is if Dillard does win that position, just because Jordan Mailata offers you 4 position versatility. Like he can play at the guard position. He can play at the tackle on either side of the ball. So and I love Jordan Mailata, and it sucks to say that because, he is, to me, the more talented player. I just think you're in a better situation if the guy that can only play left tackle plays left, you know what I mean? Like, because I know a lot of people talk about moving Dillard to right or moving him to guard. And listen, man, I think
that would take a whole year, man.
Say again?
That would take a whole year. Like Stoutland would have to take a whole year to retrain him how to play left guard. Do we really want to take that time when we can just redraft someone next year for the same thing?
I agree. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. But shout out to everybody, man. We got a bunch of agrees. Don't nobody want Russell Wilson. Don't nobody want Deshaun Watson. He said Russell Wilson got paid. His team struggled to beat Josh McCown's Eagles. Huge quarterback contracts are difficult to overcome if the team does not draft right. Seattle drafted running back Penny in the first round. Yeah, that's my biggest thing, man. That's my biggest thing. He said, I've heard buzz Russell Wilson to the Eagles. Would you like that? Nah, let's work with what we got. Russell Wilson's what, 33 now? 32? Like if we were a Super Bowl team, maybe. If come week 5, we're like barely winning games because of our defense, and we're like, bro, if our quarterback was really good, you know what I'm saying? Like then we could have this conversation. I can't hear you. I think you cut out.
Oh, no, sorry. My daughter walked in. Go ahead. Say that one more time.
But yeah, if we get to a point that we see, hey, we're a quarterback away, then we have this conversation. But other than that, man, I'm not doing it, man. I'm not doing it. Yeah. This year is a learning year for our team. If we're better than that, then we're better than that. And that's awesome. But we have to just understand, we have to know what we have on this roster. The scariest thing for me, and this is how we'll end it, the scariest thing that I said in the beginning of the year for me, for this team, is to go into next year in the same position. That is the worst thing that we can have happen, to be in the same position where we don't know what our key positions are or who our key players are. This is the transitional period where you find out your new core. You know, we went through it when we got Fletcher Cox, when we got Zach Ertz, Lane Johnson, when we got all these, you know, Jason Kelsey. We got our core. Now it's time to see if we have that on the roster or not. And if we don't, then we have to use our assets next year to build that. But yeah, that's really all I have to say on the situation. It felt good. It felt good to be able to, you know, vent. I needed this. I haven't been able to talk about Deshaun Watson much. So it was nice to get my feelings out. We still got 40 people in here. So once again, be sure to go check us out check my channel out on Philly the podcast. Go check my guy out on Eagles Uncensored. I was about to call you AK Eagles Uncensored podcast, man. He is killing it. This was a lot of fun, man. Do you want to say anything before we get out of here, brother?
Oh, yeah, man. If you guys have not checked my channel out, please go ahead and do so. And please like and subscribe. At 200 subs, I think I'm only like 30 people away. At 200 subs, I'm giving away a free Eagles vintage blanket. You know, it's old school. It actually has our first Eagles logo ever on it. You know, the very first Eagles logo. So it's a pretty sweet blanket. So definitely, if you haven't, get into that and get a chance to win it for sure.
Definitely. And I got an extra entry for every person that subscribes right now. So everybody go over there, subscribe, and I get an extra entry. So let's get my man to 200 because I need a new blanket. But listen, AK Eagles, man, I appreciate you so much. Like I said, you've been a supporter of the channel for so long. So I'm glad that you got your own show, and I'm glad I was able to get you on here, man. It was a lot of fun, like I said. And maybe we'll do this again. Maybe I'll start bringing on some more channel members. Maybe that's something I'll do on A2D. I'll talk to Tom, see if he doesn't mind. I'm sure he's getting tired of me already. But either way, I love all you guys. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Other than that, y'all know what it is. It is Fly Eagles Fly, and we are out here.